Hello everyone. Today in this lecture we are going to discuss about binomial distributions. So this will be our last part of our probability. So this is the very small topic we are left with it. So we will be discussing thoroughly with the binomial distributions and some few standard theorems or formulas we can say, and then we will do 2-3 questions from probability, and then we will just wind up this chapter here. So let's get into our first binomial distribution. So first let us see what actually binomial distribution. So when they actually occur. So binomial distributions, they actually occur in relation to those experiments that are binary in nature. Right. So those experiments, which are binary in nature, which means, so those experiments that are actually binary in nature. So these binomial distributions, they only occur in relation to the experiments which are actually binary in nature. That means whose outcomes can be grouped into two classes. It can be whether success or failure, which means we have discussed that sure event and our impossible event. So it's kind of the same thing, whether it can be grouped as success or failure, which can be in terms of probability, in terms of number. If you talk about, it will be equal to 1 or 0. So for these particular experiment, our binomial distributions will be considering or else occurring. So now for binomial distributions, so we will be getting into our binomial probability distribution. So what and all distributions here we are having. So a probability distribution spells out how a total probability is distributed over several values of a random variable. So our probability is nothing but, for example, for a certain sample space, if we are having some number of events, right, but the sum of those all events should always be equal to 1. The sum should always be equal to 1, which means our total probability will be distributed over several values of a random variable. So a probability distribution is nothing but it spells out that how a total probability is actually distributed over several values of our random variable, right? So in this particular binomial, we will be having our mean, and then we will be having our variance too. So mean of any probability distribution of a random variable, right? So here in terms of our probability, our mean is actually denoted by mu, right? So for that any random variable, our mean for a probability distribution is nothing but sigma pi xi by sigma pi. But we know that our sigma pi will always be equal to 1, because sum of all the probabilities in the given distribution will always be equal to 1. So from here we can say that our mean, which is equal to mu, is sigma pi xi. So this this mu, that is our mean of our probability, will always be equal to sigma pi xi. So now once we are done with our mean, we will be having our variance. So variance is nothing but with respect to our random variable. So here our random variable is x and our probability distribution is p. So our sigma square, that is nothing but our variance, is given by sigma xi minus mu whole square into pi, right? So this is our variance. So it's like a quite similar thing which we have seen in our our normal what we can say in our statistics formulas. So it's like a same kind we can say, but it's like in terms of our distribution, right? Here we are talking in terms of our distribution. So now let's so this is actually about our distribution, how we have how we can find mean from the probability distribution, variance and everything for a random variable. So it's basically we want max of them, we won't use it actually, but you should know how we actually do it when we have it. So now let's do few questions actually, and then we actually wind up this chapter here. So find the probability that a year chosen at random has 53 Sundays. So we don't know which year we have chosen. For a random year we have chosen. So find the probability that a year chosen at random has 53 Sundays. So it has to be 53 Sundays. So first what we'll do, we'll divide it into two parts, because we'll be having a year which is a leap year, otherwise not a leap year, right? So let us consider a P of L, which is nothing but the probability which is the year chosen at a random is a leap year. So for leap year, probability will be equal to 1 by 4. So for non-leap year, it will be equal to 3 by 4, right? So now consider our P of X is nothing but the probability that the year chosen at random has 53 Sundays. Then from that our P of S is our required one. So which will be equal to P of L in terms of our conditional or else total probability, P of S by L plus P of L bar into P of S by L bar, because leap year and non-leap year, right? So for leap year we will be having 366 days and for non-leap year it will be 365 days, right? So how many possibilities we will be having? So we will be having Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and everything. So for leap year we will be having 52 weeks, and then the remaining 2 days can be Sunday, Monday, or else Monday, Tuesday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Likewise we will be having, so I will be writing Sunday, Monday, Monday, Tuesday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Likewise it will be having 7 of total possibilities, right? So but 2 should be our Sundays, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So here and here we will be having Sunday. So out of total 7 possibilities we are having only 2 favorable. So our P of S by L is nothing but 2 by 7, and similarly our P of S by L bar will be equal to 1 by 7. So hence our P of S, that is a probability of year chosen a random has 53 Sundays, is nothing but, so for a leap year it will be 1 by 4 and the number of it will be 2 by 7. Similarly for the remaining it will be 3 by 4 into 1 by 7. Hence our probability will be 2 by 28 plus 3 by 28. So it will be 5 by 28. Hence our required probability is nothing but 5 by 28 for the year chosen at random has 53 Sundays. Let's do one more question here. So let's do one more question here. So here there is a question based on a mathematics problem. So a mathematics problem is given to 3 students A, B, C. So here we are having 3 students and the problem is given to 3 students A, B, C, whose chances of solving it are 1 by 2, 1 by 3 and 1 by 4 respectively. So then the probability that the problem is solved, right? So now we apply our principle. So here for the 3 people the probability of solving is 1 by 2, 1 by 3 and 1 by 4. So the probability that the problem is solved, which means the reverse of it, so it will be at least one of them has to be solved, right? So at least one of them must be occurred, in the sense our what we say independent n events that will be applied here. 1 minus 1 by P of A1, P of A2, so and so on. So now here 1 minus 1 by 2 into 1 minus 1 by 3 into 1 minus 1 by 4. So now let's get into 1 minus 1 by 2 will be 1 by 2, and then 1 minus 1 by 3 2 by 3, and then here 3 by 4. So this will be 1 minus 1 by 4, which is nothing but 3 by 4. Hence that the probability of the problem solved is 3 by 4, right? So in this this is how we actually solve based on our probability of at least one of the, because at least one of them will be solving, so the probability of solving the problem is nothing but 3 by 4, right? So in this particular chapter we have dealt with all the topics, we have covered every concept, and similarly for each and corresponding concept we have done our problems too. So if you have any doubts, just comment down so that I'll just clarify the doubts. So with this we actually finished our basic many of the all the chapters from our 11th and 12th. So in this probability this binomial distributions is the last part, and then we have finished with our probability chapter. So we'll just discuss our next topics, we'll start with our next new chapter, our videos. Thank you.